everyone, and welcome back to another video. Tonight looking at again something a bit different. This is the BBI Elite Force M1114 Up Armoured Humvee. As you can see, it's a 1/18th scale Humvee. We have got the Elite Force logos on the top. A closer look at the desert coloured Humvee in the packaging there. We do get a figure with it, we get a tripod mounted anti-tank weapon. On the back of the packaging, we get a closer look at the BBI assortment, so you have all of these figures you can choose from. I've seen 2 4-packs with a lot of these on Amazon. I haven't seen the trooper with the gas mask, the pilot, or this trooper here anywhere, which is quite interesting. We also have got a Little Bird, the M1114 Desert Armoured Vehicle, a Naval Special Warfare Gunboat, and the Delta Force Attack Vehicle. And this is really interesting because BBI is not something that's available here in the UK, so I did import this one. I imported it from Amazon US. So there's a lot to unpackage with this one. 2 of the doors come detached. There's a lot to cut out of the packaging, so I'm not going to unbox it live in the video for you. Instead, I'm going to go away, get this out of the packaging, and we'll take a closer look at what the M1114 Up Armoured Humvee has got to offer. So stay tuned, guys. We will be back in a moment. Okay, so we're back, and I have to admit, just looking at this Humvee on camera, this is probably the coolest Humvee toy I have ever seen. I've had my own, a few different ones for some time, but this one is very awesome. We're going to move it out the way, we're going to move the portable turret out the way, and we're going to take a look at the soldier we get first, just because this is arguably the weakest part of the set. So you can see he's got some cool accessories. We get an M302 grenade launcher in a 3 3/4 inch scale, which I don't think I've ever seen, so that's very awesome. We also get an M4 carbine with a hybrid scope, or what is possibly a thermal sight on top of it, so that is really awesome. It's made of quite brittle plastic, so when I picked it up there's stress marks on the plastic on the stock already, just from putting it in his hand, so that's something to be mindful of. But those are cool accessories. The figure himself, quite limited in terms of articulation. We can get the legs up that high. We have a single joint at the knee. We have a swivel at the waist. We have ball joints at the shoulders. A hinge and swivel at the elbow. As you can see there, no swivel at the wrist, so you can't really get a proper shooting pose with him. But with that said, he does have a nice detailed vest. You can see the pistol in the holster there. Additional pistol there. And he has got this helmet set up with night vision goggles and a microphone. It's a fast helmet, which is quite cool, and you can see underneath there we do have that face sculpt. So a decent figure. You're not really buying this for the figure though, and unfortunately BBI's figures, they used to be quite highly articulated. I saw a few of them when I was a kid, but they have reduced the articulation somewhat, so you can't quite get the sort of tactical poses you might have been used to at one point in time. But he's still a decent figure, decent inclusion for the person who's driving the Humvee at least. We then get the mounted missile launcher, and this is all in green, but it's a really cool piece to have. I love when we get this kind of scenery stuff. You can see the hollow end there is not actually fully hollow, just hollow enough to give the illusion of it. You've got the targeting camera on one side, all of the controls on the back, and it does pivot up and down as well. So pivots up and down, you can rotate it 360, and I have to admit, as far as these things go, this for like a static missile launcher, if you put a figure with it, if we take our figure and kind of get him into a launching pose, you can see that looks quite cool. You can get a decent look for that, make it look like they're getting ready to attack some heavy armour. Likely to do quite a bit of damage to a Humvee actually, compared to a tank. And then the Humvee itself is absolutely awesome. You can see here it's kind of in this dark tan colour, but there is shadowing on it, so it feels really, really nice. It looks absolutely great on camera, and it looks really good in person as well. The way the shadows cast across this thing are awesome. Now, I really like this because it's the Armoured Humvee, and I haven't seen a company do one of these before. I see a lot of the non-armoured versions, but this kind of slicker, more armoured Humvee is very unusual. We do get wing mirrors that clip into the doors on the front. Took me a long time to work out what they were for, but that is what the pieces you get in the box go onto. We get all of this texture around the front, the lights that you'd expect, the grille, this particular grille which is quite iconic for the design of the Humvee. We then get the sides of the vehicle where you have the additional armour plating for the doors, and the doors do open nice and wide. You can see in there is a sticker, if I can get some better light, for a actual navigational computer, which is quite a cool inclusion actually. If I move it back a bit, there you can see that a lot better. We do have 4 opening doors, so the rear doors open as well, like you can see. Open really nicely. And then we do have some extra printed details on there as well, which is nice. We have the bendable antenna on the back, which is made of a bendable plastic. We have these, what I believe are flare units or smoke canisters, which are adaptable. We then have got the back hood, which can be opened like so. And you can dismount the rocket launcher and place it inside here if you want, or you can mount it in there like so. Unfortunately, the tailgate doesn't come down, but for what is a $20 Humvee, I'm not really expecting that. You can see the back details there, complete with the working winch. And then the other side of the vehicle as well. And like I say again, those opening doors with plenty of space for your figures to go inside. Helps if I push the door on properly, so we will do that in a second. But yeah, this is a really, really cool Humvee. You can see we have the up-armoured top portion, as you can see just there, with plenty of detail in there. And you can easily put a figure down in there operating the Mark 19 grenade launcher, like so. The grenade launcher does angle forwards and back. It's a very, very loose connection, so it does tend to pop off, but you can pivot it slightly as well, which is really cool. And as you've seen there, the doors are removable, so if you wanted, you could potentially do a cool version of this Humvee. Probably gonna break it if I try on camera, but I think with a little bit of work, you could potentially do a doorless Humvee, which we do see in some US Army units, the Hummer being used without its doors. So that's a really cool option. And one final detail I love is, while there's no glass in here, we do have working windscreen wipers, which can help to simulate that there is glass there. So that is a really, really nice detail actually, and something I wouldn't expect. Like I say, this is a $20 Humvee, and for that price point, I do not think you can go wrong. You get an awesome figure, a really, really cool, iconic military vehicle, and a decent enough figure. You know, you're not buying this for the figure. If you have your G.I. Joes or you have some other action figures, that's who you're going to be using this with. But yeah, guys, I hope you've enjoyed a closer look at the BBI Armoured Humvee. Make sure to like, favourite and subscribe. And until the next video, take care and have a great week.